right, we're about to go third party, the makeup room. I think somebody's getting makeup right now. I see players running into there. Let's just see what happens. Let's just come on. Oh, beautiful timing. We got people all over the place. Gentlemen, you're on camera. Look, we're third partying you in the makeup room. Let's start right here. We've got the wonderful Scummin. It's great to see you in person, by the way.
Everyone,
how you doing?
Good. How are you?
I'm doing fantastic. How are you liking media day so far?
You know, we just got in here. We're about to take photos, and I'm excited. I'm ready for tomorrow.
My question for you is this: are you guys winning?
Yeah.
Okay. Here's another question for you: are you top fragging?
Yeah.
Okay. Another question for you: are you shooting bodies?
Yeah. I'm getting toxic.
Okay. Give me 2 names of people you're shooting bodies today.
Jukies and Destroy.
Okay. Yeah, I don't really know what to say off that, but okay, look forward to seeing me shoot some bodies back then.
Okay, bodies are being shot. All right, let's move over here. Jukies, I got a question for you, Jukes.
Yeah.
Whose body are you shooting?
His, of course, coming, of course, yeah, every time I kill him.
Okay, we got to keep moving. Best player here, worst player here. You are an analyst for World Series of Warzone. This will go everywhere. Who's the best player here and who's the worst player here? You don't even need to tell me why. You just pick.
Best player here, Hisoka. Has to be Hisoka. Guy's absolutely out of this world. Worst player here, goddamn, that is a difficult one. I'm going to say Scummin.
Good answers. All right, I got to run. We got more people to talk to, all right? You do your thing. Good luck with your interviews. You're going to do great. Love you too. I see Hector. Let's go. I got a camera crew, bro. I got to ask you some questions.
What's up, man?
Okay, look, I heard you got an interview with the Falcons earlier.
I did.
How much trash were they talking?
Oh, listen, man, I'm gonna tell you, there wasn't just simple trash talk. These guys are gonna piss off the Warzone community, piss off the EU community, and most importantly, they're gonna piss off the CDL community. So let me tell you, there was a lot of trash talking.
Dude, I've got to ask you, how many games are we playing day 2?
Oh, man, I'll be honest, it's one or the other. This is not going 5 games, 6 games. This is going, they're finishing it in 4, or this is going 10 games. No in between.
When the Falcons get to match point, I know you want your boys to win, but when they get to match point, what are your words to 21st all the way down to 40th?
Hey, man, we've been saying this for the last 6 months. If y'all are 21st through 40th, and you're not trying to chalk them in some way, what are we here for? You know what I'm saying? I love them, and we need this to be interesting. Like, people have been scared for the last 6 months. Now's the time.
$1 million on land. Hector, have a fun watch party, bro. Much love. All right, I got to go third party some more people. Cheers. Oh, shoot, wait. We got the gentleman. Gentlemen, it's Cloud9 time. Look, okay, I know you guys are doing tech stuff. I got cameras. I got some questions asked really quick. You guys can get set up in a second. Supermodel girlfriend, she here?
She's really busy right now. She's in Turks and Caicos right now with some like low-tier rapper named Aubrey. But he's got a plane though, which is pretty cool.
Sure.
So it's like, it's fine. She's busy. And like, she has her own life. I got mine. But overall though, we're doing phenomenal.
Dude, I like that. Turks and Caicos sounds like a pastry.
Yeah,
Speaking of pastry, my
man.
man, Bread, I've got a really important question for you. Are you going to snipe?
I'm glad there's 2 days for this event because I haven't been sniping recently, but at the same time, it's always something I could pull out, so I'm going to have a little out. We'll see.
You, my friend, do sometimes shoot bodies, and you sometimes get a little aggro, which I like, by the way. It makes great content. Who are you going after? I mean, it's Cloud9 versus the world, but is there a specific team that you're like, I'm shooting that body every time?
Yeah, Nate Dogg and Roll and Destroy. That team, it's every time. Every time I see them, it's on site.
Okay, I respect that play. Put them in the dirt, as they say, I guess. We're in the elevator. We're going up to the player lounge. We're going to try to get a couple more interviews here, see what's going on behind the scenes. Oh, shoot. This is a big one. I'm going off script. Almond, my man, you're representing the Falcons. Your story getting here is unbelievable. Did you think you'd be here at this moment playing with this team?
Well, I knew I was going to be in Vegas for Vegas.
Sure.
I didn't think I was going to be playing.
Yeah.
Somehow I ended up playing.
Unfortunately, Krims, we love him. Fantastic player, couldn't make it. And so they called on the energy of the almond, I suppose. What do you think you're bringing to the table for this team? Kind of what's the strat going into this weekend?
Yeah, I'm just trying to bring that veteran leadership to the team. You know, I've played well on land so far. I'm trying to help these guys out, do the best we can.
All right, I'm gonna swap you out, Almond. Dude, it's great to see you always. All right, listen. It is great to have you on land, my man. How are you feeling playing in Vegas for the Falcons, but mostly for you? I mean, this is a big moment. Y'all qualify again, and then you pick up Almond. How are you feeling about your team?
I'm feeling great. Picking up our IGL. Almond is the best out there. That's why we picked him up.
You got your competition behind the cameras right now, the other Falcons. Now, I need you to be very clear. You can shout out an individual player. Whose body are you shooting when you kill them?
Man, it's probably Biffle.
Biffle. Yeah, okay. Number one player in the world, you shoot his body when you kill him. This is perfect. This is how we're gonna end it right here. We're in the player lounge, and I'm gonna be honest, there's some food up here. It smells really good, so I'm gonna have to get some lunch after this. Z Smith and DJ Moss with me. I need you to talk to me about why you are one of the best teams here, if not the best. I have you top 5. No bias.
I mean, you look at all the scrims and all the tournaments these past few weeks, we've started to mesh and blend really well together, top 3 in almost every single one. You know, it takes time. We locked our roster right at roster locks, like literally the day of, and we just needed time to build the chemistry, and we've been cooking ever since.
What does this event mean to you, especially with the kind of lead up that you guys have going into this of being one of the best teams here?
Definitely means a lot. Like, we've been working for it for like a long time. So, I mean, it is a little bit of pressure, but you know, I think we're ready for it.
I love you both a ton. Last question I have for you. Been asking everybody, whose body are you shooting? You've got a lot to prove, a lot to finish. Whose body?
Panda. I might see him at market.
Same question. Last question.
Honestly, I'm gonna go with Scummin.
Scummin was talking some trash earlier, I'm not gonna lie. You got any words for Scummin?
He always does.
Aí tá o Nando já na
I'll see him
resenha.
on the map.
Cheers. All right, folks. This has been incredible. All right, I've been
LG
third-party
Vieira
people
já
all
aquecendo a
day.
mira.
Media Day has been a blast. We've got so much behind-the-scenes look, and it was so dang fun. These players are ready to rock, and I can tell they are focused on making sure they're the best players on the map and trying to get the win. Will the Falcons win? I don't know, but I'm having a great time seeing what all the players are thinking.
I'm ready for war. I'm ready for war. I'm lighting up that fire, yeah, I'm burning up. Look at me, feel the heat. Climbing so much higher, but it's not enough. Best believe, good to see. Stumbling on the ground to the earth breaks. Knocking down walls, making earthquakes. Never looking back, it's just high stakes. Look at me, yeah. I'm ready for war. Look into my eyes, I'm ready for war. Never gonna stop me, I'm ready for war. Look into my eyes, I'm ready for war. Going up, going big, never gonna stop me. Pushing past the limit, I'm never gonna break. I know I'm gonna win. Light it up, going up, going big, no retreat, gonna win, going up, going big. I'm ready for war. Look into my eyes, I'm ready for war. Going big, never gonna stop me. I'm ready for war. Look into my eyes, I'm ready for war. Going big, never gonna stop me. I'm ready for war.
Well, day one of the World Series of Warzone Global Finals come and gone.
$50,000 has already been won by our champion of the solo YOLO, but it's time to see which team will take the lion's share of the $1 million prize pool.
We're not just giving away $1 million though, Gio, we're also giving away this magnificent trophy, this totem of the skill and dedication of our players on stage. We can only give it to one team.
It's time for the global finals of the World Series of Warzone 2024!
We're back, baby. The World Series of Warzone Global Final, coming at you live from beautiful Las Vegas, where fortunes are made. Thousands of the grittiest, sweatiest, hardest hitting players have vied for a spot in this high-stakes showdown. Let's go! But only the top 120 competitors made the cut and will be dropping into Uzbekistan. Get ready to witness all the mayhem, the carnage, the whoopsie-daisy, and the unforgettable clutch-ups. Who will be immortalized on the championship trophy and take home the biggest chunk of the $1 million prize pool? You know what? Enough talk. It's time to break necks and cash checks. It's the 2024 World Series of Warzone Global Final.
And welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the 2024 World Series of Warzone Global Finals at the Orleans Arena in beautiful Las Vegas, Nevada. Today, we crown our second ever World Series of Warzone Global Champion. This is the biggest stage Warzone has to offer. If the competitors on that stage want to cement their names in the history of Warzone, they must own this moment. They're the only ones who can truly carve their way into destiny. I'm your host, Taylor Reflections Noble. Yesterday was absolutely incredible. Today, well, like I said, we crown a champion, give away life-changing money, and, well, get to enjoy with all of you in the chat as well as the stadium. Thank you for joining us today, and thank you to my crew, Dream Crazy, Enigma, and Dandro. Dream yesterday was so good. Like we mentioned, last year was London. This year, it's Las Vegas. Good old North America. How you feeling about finals?
Ready for war. Oh my goodness. Yesterday was so exciting with the Falcons winning 50% of their games. I'm excited to see if that legacy will continue, but the games have been exciting.
Yeah.
And you all, I'm so excited to get into it today with you.
Without a doubt, Enigma EMEA actually did a really good job yesterday. There was a couple of heavy hitters at the top. I know you're...
Testando, som, testando.
I think it slowed a bit over the day. I was accused a little bit of yapping too much about certain teams. We'll get to that later on. And if you think I'm going to stop, not a chance in hell. We're coming for the trophy today, and I believe we can make things happen. But very excited and, of course, very honored to be alongside all of you up here.
Without a doubt. Dandro, you're looking like Vegas, man. I'm loving this shirt. You always bring the shirts on Championship Sunday. How's everything going, brother?
Hey, I'm feeling great. I'm feeling lucky. We're here in Vegas. The venue is abuzz with competition. Everybody is excited to see what is going on here today.
Dois, som, dois. E aí.
And everybody was just so excited for what we are going to witness in finals today.
We had 6 wonderful games yesterday, of course, earning those bonus points for today. But before we get into that, let's talk about that game number 7, Solo YOLO, where teams put it all on the line, or I should say individuals. We start off with Aiden and Dream. Aiden was in the gulag 4 times. It blew me away, and each and every time he fought back, but it wasn't enough in the end.
Yeah, not enough in the end, of course, but it was exciting to see him pop off. But I got excited seeing Nick win, you guys. I don't know, that just the victory with Nick being under so much pressure and seeing our first mousing keyboard, but Zeppa leading up into that. Oh my gosh, Dandro, like we were saying, Flank probably ruined the show.
Yeah, I mean, Zeppa made this fantastic play of being able to sit on top of that roof, but it wasn't until he kind of flies down on in off of the roof that unfortunately he's just like a little bit too early, I feel like, right? We see him kind of be able to get a couple of kills while he's there, but it's unfortunately exactly what happens. But this was the sort of the tale of the Solo YOLO. It was the heavy hitters who we watched just get taken out from a different angle, right? And here you see Zeppa, he comes on down. He's going to find Hollow right here on the gas. He then finds Flank right on the edge, but it's these 2 kills that really give away his position. Let Nick Cool know exactly where to look. You got a thermal on a weapon. Hide in the smoke all you want, baby. It's not going to stop Nick Cool from bringing you down.
Nick Cool was absolutely nutty. You guys were losing your mind alongside him. And Dream, I know it was special for you to see Nick Cool win. He has worked so hard to get up to this point, and he joined some of the greats Solo YOLO winners of the past.
Coming into the global final last year, hitting dead last 50th with Picnic and Wag, and then winning the solo in the fashion that he did, because the whole entire time we thought Zeppa had it. Zeppa literally was destroying everyone in his path, but Nick Cool able to just be able cool, calm, collected, and take that with a mouse and keyboard. But following the champs from 2021 to 2024, you see Child Stomp, Blade FIFA Kill, and joining up with Skullface. Nick Cool is just amazing, and it was so happy to see his family and everybody join around him.
Yeah, my job yesterday was to bring out the giant check.
That's right.
The guy did not stop screaming from the top of the stage all the way down, and then obviously out there at the front with his fans and own girlfriend alongside him. So yeah, absolutely wonderful stuff. Wonderful human being, and to see that redemption arc come on through is absolutely fantastic.
Without a doubt, that was $50,000 earned. Let's talk about how we went bigger and badder than ever before. Global Finals this year is $1 million guaranteed, $300,000 for first place. Second place, mind you, $160,000. Still more than I'm going to make
this year and maybe even the next year and 3 years combined. But regardless, that's a big difference between first and second place. But the big thing to take note of, ladies and gentlemen, only the top 20 out of the 40 teams on that very stage get paid out. So you need to make it top 20 or else that plane ride, well, those waters at the airport going to be a little bit expensive. But this year we also did things different for our format. Yesterday was the build-up to match point. Dan, walk us through it.
Yeah, so obviously if you missed yesterday, to kind of give you a little bit of a breakdown, we had 6 lobbies that our players dropped on in, and they battled it out. But where they landed after those 6 lobbies gave them advantage points for coming in here today. Now, if this is your first time kind of being able to watch Call of Duty Warzone match point, we are looking for a team to hit 150 total points, and then they have to win a game to win our tournaments. You're going to be getting 1 point for every elimination. You're going to have that sliding scale, of course, 2 doubling your points for first, 1.8 for second through fifth, and so on. So you're going to have to come out hot and heavy, because what we kind of talked about yesterday, we had some heavy hitter squads are starting today with a lead on everyone else.
Yeah, heavy hitters indeed, and they let the competition know exactly what they thought about us. Some spicy stuff coming from each and every one of their interviews. Of course, I'm talking about the Falcons. They've got a 40-point lead for today. Dream, you mentioned their win rate, their win percentage, what, 50%. They win 3 out of the 6 games. More importantly, they start off absolutely incredible with a second place finish. They had a little bit of a mix-up in game number 2, but they've recovered quite well.
Yeah, recovered indeed. But I mean, even game number 1, right? They almost took game 1. That almost was 4 drops that they won. But Hisoka, right? We're looking at the IGL player that can do it all, Mr. Closer. He really came to life in the later games too. Just winning those maps was absolutely insane. Drop 3, drop 4, but even so, Biffle with the 9.5 KD, Danjo, as you mentioned earlier. Insane from the young gun.
No, absolutely wild. I mean, not to say that anybody was surprised here, but it's global finals, baby. These boys came to play. They are ready to slay out. 34.5 average points is just an insane stat line alongside that 50% win rate. Like you mentioned, they're the crowd favorite for a reason, and I think yesterday showcased why.
Without a doubt, and you got the family up front and center, by the way, who's supporting them and getting loud, especially when they win. It gets a bit rowdy up there, but I'm all for it. It's Warzone after all. If you're not getting rowdy, you're not doing it correctly. And again, showing the love. I love it. Hey, and we sped it up. How brutal is that? But you know what? The Falcons are insane. Now, Shifty, he walked on stage this morning, and I had a chance to see him, and I said, hey, man, look, good luck today. He says, don't tell me good luck. Tell the other competitors good luck. We don't need it. We know we got it on lock. And you know what? I think I got to agree because they've been insane. Danjo, right back at you. We've got a lot of great day 1 Elim leaders. Obviously, Falcons are on there. Who else stood out to you?
Yeah, I mean, I'm looking at, obviously, in 3rd, we have Dongi, and then we have in 7th, Scum and Community. They came to play yesterday, and they were looking great, and it's off the backs of these 2 players. I also got to shout out, as much as I know Enigma's going to love this, Echo and Oki being on this board in the 6th, 8th, and 9th positions. I had a chance to catch up with Echo, and he goes, yo, our average placing with 14th, okay? So the fact that they are able to have that lower average placing, but they're still shooting, is absolutely incredible.
Man, they were insane, all of them, all 10 of them. It blew me away how good EMEA was doing, how good Latin America was doing, and then obviously how good North America was ended up doing. That's just nutty, buddy. When you think about those stats, Dream, again, map number 1, second place. Map 2, we won't talk about it, but walk me through map 3 through 6.
Yeah, that's absolutely insane. Hitting first on that 3rd, 4th, and then 6th drop. But, you know, a lot of the times, too, we had saw, and I believe it was Omit NA, we saw youngsters, we saw Juju almost take them down.
Yeah.
It was Biffle that saved today. I believe it was that map number 4 that kind of created this, or maybe it was map 3. It just created this, like, echelon of just wins.
Sure.
Once they win that 3rd game, they just are, it's hard to stop.
Hard to stop them. They're a momentum-based team, without a doubt, and it seems like they always have momentum. Let's dive a little bit deeper into who the Falcons are, and I actually like this part, cracking the code with Enigma. Enigma, what's going on with the Falcons?
Well, I said yesterday that the Falcons must fly, and by God, they did. A 50% win rate on the day is quite frankly terrifying, and we're going to talk about a little of what they're doing in order to be the best team in the world and set up their dynasty claim. And it looks like we're going to start off initially with their landing spots and where it is that they want to be on the map. And of course, they're playing out around Popov Power. Now, this is not a surprise to anyone, but what should be is that they are moving on average 93% of the time they're on the map, by far more than anyone else. And what they're doing is they're getting that loot, that resource together, and they're going on the hunt. And that is emphasized in particular when we look at the kind of numbers that they are putting up, averaging just 24 deaths across all 6 games. That is less than 4 per map, which is quite frankly outrageous when we saw them fall so much in that second map, basically barely dying throughout the rest of the afternoon. Let's talk about the slaying figures, the kind of numbers that they're putting up, the damage on the board. You're going to see exactly where they're getting those kills. No surprise to see quite a few up there by Popov, obviously towards the eastern side of the map where we saw them won a couple yesterday, but the numbers are terrifying. KD's Shifty 2.75, Soka 4.8, Biffle 9.5 is quite frankly disgusting.
Nutty.
The thing is though, the wide difference that they have in the KDs, the damage is almost identical. Every single player has 21,000 damage and a little bit of change. Basically, they're all on top of each other. They're set up in crossfires, set up in triangles, making sure they're covering over each other and eliminating their competition.
Who has the 9 KD?
Biffle.
Oh my God, like that's insane, bro. Especially given his role as well. Like, but we go back, we talked about it, Falcons are setting up because they set up early, even though they have set roles, they're able to just slay out. And that, at the end of the day, that's what makes a great Warzone competitor, is being able to shoot your gun straight, something I haven't figured out just yet. Let's talk about another team, though, that was challenging the team of Falcons, especially throughout Game 5 and 6. They impressed all of us on the desk. Of course, we're talking about Team Aiden Dream.
Yeah, Team Aiden, which, you know, had somewhat of a slow start, right? And unfortunate, I don't know what it is with Aiden and his luck on land. Had a teammate disconnected, I think it was Z-Smith game number 3, but they were able to pick up the pace and end super strong, earning 30 placement points here today. And that's really credits to that drop number 5, where they were able to take a crazy dub and all these rotations where it's like, how the heck do they get through and pull through these situations? But that man on your screen, Z-Smith, really absolutely went off. He's got that mentality like, I'm gonna slay out everyone, and also they were able to kind of flip-flop the standings. First place drop 5, then second place number 6, kind of flipping with the Falcons there. So seeing the Team Aiden and the Falcons in the top 2, the last drops, and you see Aiden's family just cheering him on and everybody just supporting the crew.
Getting electric. I love this team. I kind of swung by their booth right before we started, and they were feeling good. He's like, yeah, today's a new day, man. Yesterday was exactly what they wanted. I mentioned it yesterday. I'm going to say the same thing here today. This is where this team is peaking. They've been lackluster kind of leading up, but it's been the last 2 weeks. It seems like Aiden has really locked on in what this team can do together. We went to that listen-in. We heard DJ Moss getting loud in the comms, and that is exactly the type of thing I want to hear. So right before our media day, I actually got to interview this team. Let's go ahead. Let's listen to an interview with Team Aiden. Yo, what's up, everybody? Dandro here, and I am doing an interview with Team Aiden. We got Aiden, Z-Smith, and DJ Moss. I want to ask you a couple questions right before we get ready to head into the weekend. Just kind of get a sense of how you're feeling, how you're doing. First question I have, really simple. Just like to hear from all of you. How are you just feeling coming into this World Series of Warzone? I know you guys have kind of been on the upswing a little bit, but just kind of what's a little bit of the mentality and sort of just how you vibing so far?
I'm loving it so far. Vegas is just super fun. Like, the vibes are always high. I got my family coming out to support me, so more motivation to be here.
Okay.
I'm feeling real confident. We've cleaned up a lot of our mistakes over these past few weeks, did a lot of VOD reviewing, and I'm really excited for this weekend.
All right. How about you, Deej?
Yeah, like Smith said, man, we've been cooking here recently, man, so hopefully we can keep the momentum going this weekend.
I love the confidence. Yep. What's something you're really proud of with this team? Because I think when you kind of first formed, it wasn't doing the best, but you guys have come a long way. So what's something you're really proud of with your squad?
Honestly, our discipline, we've worked on our rotations a lot more because in person, you know, LAN's gonna be a lot more rotation heavy, and we stopped chasing kills on edge of gas and everything, and we've honestly just been a lot more disciplined, played smarter, and just everything's just meshed together.
Okay, what about you? What do you think about that, Aiden?
I think on paper, when we first formed, people were like, yeah, I mean, they're a good squad. I don't know if they're like the best or anything. And I think at first we weren't playing too well, and I think people probably thought they were right, but at the end of the day, I feel like a big thing for us is just team chem, like learning each other's play styles, like trusting each other. I feel like since we formed, DJ's got more comfortable as well. I feel like I've seen improvement, a lot of improvement from DJ recently. So just team chemistry and playing together really, and just, you know, figuring each other out.
All right, what about you, Deej? What are you most proud of?
When we first started, like, we've made our team like the day roster lock was for the tournament. So like, we've came a long way since then, and just proud of it.
We're gonna start with you, DJ, on this next one and move back down the line. Who's a team you respect a lot coming into this weekend?
I mean, I think the obvious answer here is SSD, because They've just been dominant the past few months, ever since they formed. But I mean, maybe another team. Destroy's team. I think Destroy's team's pretty solid. They're pretty solid.
I like that answer. How about you?
I'm gonna go with Braxton, Youngstas, and Juju. It was a little bit of a team that I first saw form, and I was like, like, I don't know if that's gonna work, but they play the game how it should be played at LAN, even through all the scrims, and even though they're not placing, you know, top 5 in every tournament, I think they're gonna do really well.
The omit North American squad, not one to sleep on.
Well, those were 2 great answers, honestly. I was gonna go with DJs, and then I was gonna go with Smiths next. But I think a squad that's kind of underrated that we've been seeing a lot recently was FLS. Who's the other 2? Is it GUI?
GUI, FLS, and Clapson.
Clapson, yeah. It's cool to see a team just like winning games. Like it's hard to do. I mean, you can, at the end of the day, you do need kills, but like just seeing them come in and like win games, I feel like it, you know, kind of sets it up to where like, oh, if they do hit match point, like you really got to watch out for them. So I think just seeing it like new fresh faces that can sit there and win games is cool.
Well, thanks for the general questions here, guys. I definitely really appreciate it. It's been awesome being able to sit down with Team Aiden to get how they're feeling before this weekend. Loved being able to sit down with those lads. Huge. You can hear the crowd in the back. I know Aiden's family here. DJ's family is up top as well. They are ready to cheer these boys on. Fantastic day 1. Looking to do the same here day 2.
Yeah, and that's absolutely crazy. You know, with this team, with Aiden fighting against this adversity, I saw a tweet that he had lost his IEMs and controllers.
Whoa.
So potentially, I hope he found it, but if not, I'm sure he's all right. You know, he's still fry today.
Hey, he's still going to fry. Look, the guy knows how to play on land. The whole team does, right? So new controller doesn't matter. Might be a little off, at least off the start, but you better believe he's been warming up. He's been in the firing range. So that controller's going to already be broken in by the time he drops into game number 1. Let's take a look at our standings from yesterday. We had a lot of great teams compete. Obviously, the big story was Falcons, right? Up at the top, we just covered Aiden sitting there in 2nd place. A wonderful performance from them. We go down that list, Community, a lot of eyes on them. Obviously, omit EU as well. Who else are we looking at?
I mean, I think I'm looking at the team Echo. Echo had a lot of confidence talking to him last night, right? He actually said before the event, he's like, oh yeah, I'm not even IGLing anymore. And then after yesterday, he's like, oh wait, no, I IGL'd yesterday. He picked it up. So being able to have both him and Oki be able to kind of call the shots together, I think is really helping this team come online. I mentioned it earlier. They had awful average placements. If they can fix that here today, match it up with those eliminations, they're going to be at the top, baby.
That's it. Well, Enigma, at the top of the show, you said people have been going at your throat about talking about one team too much. Well, I say let's continue to talk about it because they perform well. We won't talk about them unless they are performing well. Who is that team?
And that has to be Omit EU, of course. And that's the Frenchmen of Heeds, Gromelok, and Enkyo. A lot of pressure on this team. This is a 19-year-old boy at the end of the day who's stepping up and delivering big. Their day 1 best, of course, is going to be that 1st place in game 2, but we saw a really good average placing from them. Something I was worried about coming into this. Through the year, they kind of seemingly had less placing focus, but an average placing of 5th throughout this whole tournament. They've had 64 kills, which is the 5th highest of everyone, and Enkyo has 33 kills on the board. And this is a 19-year-old man who has no previous LAN experience, and there's a reason why a lot of the competitors on that stage respect him.
Enkyo, first LAN, 19 years old. You called him a boy. I'm now calling him a man. He's owning that stage like a man. He's doing an incredible job. And, you know, there's certain players who come onto that stage and it's their first time and they just drop the ball. And you can't blame them, right? To be on the biggest stage in Warzone, right? So on the global finals. But Enkyo has done so much in stride, and he's gone above and beyond as far as I'm concerned. Incredibly proud of him. What a story that would be if he lifts that trophy up, Dream.
Yeah, absolutely crazy too, because you had mentioned it, Enigma, like he's top 5 slaying power for his 4th LAN. This is insane. And not to mention placements. You look at their average placements, right? Average finish of a 4.7, 10.7 average eliminations, but their points, 19.1. Their worst drop. The worst placement was 11th.
Wow. Yeah, wild. Yeah, quite frankly, ridiculous. I mean, there's a stat that Gold likes to use, which is like the average placement multiplier, because obviously that's what we play a lot for here. And I think it's like a 1.78 or something. Not, you know, don't get me wrong, the Falcons are obviously slightly higher than that, but quite frankly, still a terrifying prospect. And I'm very excited to see what they do today.
Yeah, whether it's Team Aiden or Team Omit EU, they showed that, well, they potentially could make the Falcons bleed today, clip those wings a little bit, and hoist that trophy. Who knows how today is going to end up unfolding. Let's take a look at page number 2 of our squad standings from yesterday. And, well, as you see down there at the on the right side, 11th through 20th, CT Red, Omit NA, right, trying to catch up to Omit EU. At least they win that that global battle, at least for now. Who else are we looking at, right? Super Evan down there in 20th place, just edging it out.
Yeah, a couple of names that I'm a little bit surprised to see on that right side there. FaZe Black, they started out the day hot and heavy, but really petered off as the day went on. Team Destroy, I know they're in 16th, but I think, you know, they've definitely been able to hit the regain. I saw Destroy this morning. He was all smiles, as he normally is.
Yeah.
He was hyped and ready to go. But it's this team that's in 13th, okay? Team Exiles that I really want to sort of focus on. I had a chance to catch up with Huskers. You and I did. We saw him after the event, and he's like, yeah, he's like, our day started awful, right?
Yep.
He's like, we've been able, those last back 3 games, figured out what works for our team. How do we need to play in this lobby? We know that this is an incredibly cerebral team. Huskers, he's the vet. You got Brolic, who's one of actually the greatest minds in Warzone. I think he was very underrepresented. And you have the young gun Jackal, who's not afraid to get vocal with these 2 vets by his side. I like to think that they can be able to make something happen here today. They had a terrible performance at EWC. I love that here at the World Series of Warzone, they are finding their footing yet again.
We asked Huskers during an interview, how do you feel, what does this 2024 World Series of Warzone, at least at that time, qualification mean? What does it mean to potentially make it to the global stage, which obviously he's made it here now, but at the time he said, I'm on my redemption arc. This is my redemption year. I am here to prove that I'm still the best in the world, right? 2021, he had a lot of success. He still had some success since then, but not the same success that he had in 2021, which put a lot of pressure on him and a lot of talks out there. So Huskers, he's got a large backpack that he's got to carry. Let's see if he can do so. Now for CT Red though, Latin America, okay? Latin America is a passionate group of individuals. They always get loud in the chat. Talk to me, Dream, about CT Red.
Yeah, CT Red, and we saw the interview yesterday with Amir, and this is represented with Z-Dark and Castillo. We know that the Latin Am community, they represented them so well, but we love to see more spots. But you love to see Amir talk about the community as a whole and just what they have done and improvements and just coming over here, right? They were able to, they started off a little bit slow, but their drop number 4 and 6, they were able to take up 15 placement points. So going into today, still feeling pretty comfortable, but definitely love the heart and passion from the Latin Am community because, gosh, they just overall seeing more communities as a whole come over to North America. Dandro will have more competition over the years to come.
It's global finals for a reason, isn't it? Latin America is included in that global final discussion. Amir yesterday was on stage with Miles, and his interview was absolutely heartwarming. Let's hear what Amir had to say.
Thank you very, very much, Reflections. I am joined by Amir. The crowd has loved you, man. I mean, it's been so exciting to have you here. How are you doing, man? How are you feeling?
Yeah, I'm feeling great. I'm really excited. This is my 2nd year here with the same team, actually. So let's get it going. I'm excited.
Now, you're one of the few teams that hasn't made a change. Yeah. Why is that? I mean, we hear about roster moves all the time.
I mean, at the end of the day, competition is not like my priority. I am more a content creator, so if I compete, it has to be with someone that I love, with a good friend, and they are my best friends. I love them.
I love that so much. That's absolutely beautiful. Give it up for bromance, folks. Give it up for bromance. Obviously, there's a very loud and very, happy, system of fans here for you. What does it mean to represent the region, the LATAM region?
You know, when I was very young, I grew up watching like my heroes, like scumping them, and for me to be like someone that represents my country and my region, and they see me like me being like their representative, I'm really fucking proud.
Yes! Congratulations, beautiful. Have you got anything you want to say to those fans at home?
Viva Mexico, cabrones! Yo! We need more spots to our region. We have a crazy fan base. We have crazy talent. Don't overlook us. We are good. All right, thank you. Vamos!
Vamos Latin America, Amir. He said, look, I'm a content creator, but at the end of the day, I'm also a competitor. I'm playing with my friends, but more importantly, I'm representing a region, and so much pride right in that statement. Representing a region, not an easy task to do, but Amir and his team, they absolutely uphold that standard. Well done from them, and they're going to obviously be playing the day, and I wish them the best of luck. Now, if you are just joining us for the World Series of Warzone, maybe you don't know too much about competitive Warzone and how it plays out. Well, let's take our deep dive with Dan Johw and give you the lowdown.
Hey, thank you so much, Taylor. Yes, yesterday we kind of level set on what is the meta, but let's just do a little bit of a kind of background on what we had coming into the World Series of Warzone. We saw that SVA in single tap mode. EMEA loved this thing. Everybody was using it. We had the Car 98 get added in that season. The one-shot meta was real. We did get it out of there, so that's why you didn't see as many. The Holger 26 reigned supreme for a little bit, but it was that Superi 46 that came in, and you see almost 15,000 eliminations total across our global final leading up here. Now, let's talk about what we saw yesterday, okay? Let's kick it off with that STG, or actually the static rather. We have it coming on in, and we just saw so many plays with this gun over and over and over again. As we look through some of these highlights, you're gonna see this thing being an absolute monster at both close range and in that mid-range. And I think it's that mid-range, which is the real kind of kicker for the World Series of Warzone that we're seeing. Players are not afraid to rely on this weapon in the back pocket. Maybe you've kind of used all your STG ammo at range, catching somebody flying on in, and then you just have this static in your back pocket. We saw people breaking ankles all day. We saw them absolutely just shooting beams with it. It's very low recoil. It's going to get the job done when you are trying to find those eliminations. So it was no surprise to see people over and over and over again use that gun. But hey, for those close range engagements, that's what you had. For long range though, it was STG all day, baby. And I love this little B-roll highlight package that our production team put together, because it really showcases the low recoil that this weapon has, but then also the ability our competitors have to be able to control that recoil. I love this. Brolic, think you can make over the hop? Think you have enough space to be able to move? No, you can't, because with this STG in the hands of some of the best players in the world, if you even throw a shoulder, if you think you have a slight opportunity to make a rotation, guess what, buddy? You don't. You are getting laser beamed from deep. You can see E700 there making that happen. A little bit of a breakdown on what we saw yesterday, though, and it's no surprise to see here, static on top, but that STG not too far behind. That is very uncharacteristic as compared, of course, to the lead up of global finals. So it just kind of goes to show that everybody is using what they have at their disposal to find their kills.
Well, Dandra, that's the deep dive. You should be all caught up with what competitive Warzone is all about, and let's get you caught up to speed with how the finals are going to work today. Matter of fact, it's time to get the finals started. Let's get it to drop number one. Send it over to our casters, Spider Tiff and Goes.
Thank you so much, Taylor Reflections Noble. I am Goes. This is Tiff, and we're back to cast the game today, folks. The audience here in Vegas is excited because game one is about to be here. Tiff, the big question out there, the lurking behemoth, is how many games we will play today, because it's match point day.
Yeah, that's the major question. I was walking through the audience just before this, and I was like, look, how many games we going? I heard 4, I heard 5, I've heard max of 6. So whoever's got the magic number out there, it's going to be crazy. But there's one thing that we didn't get to talk about, and I saw yesterday. The only team to reach 150 in 6 games, well, that was the Falcons.
That's right, and if you even look at the average points they were putting up, it was unbelievable, pushing 35 points a game on average.
It's crazy.
There's only 2 teams where their best score was higher than that. It's a ridiculous stat line. Their average is better than everybody else's best, but it's a brand new day. Yes, we've got points. We looked at the leaderboard. We saw where everybody stacked up, but with a brand new day means brand new hot spots, brand new drop spots, and brand new teams on this battlefield. I am so excited for that.
And maybe a brand new team to unseat the Falcons and staple themselves in the history. Because, you know, at the end of the day, right, I would love to see a new team unseat them, because I do like a bit of chaos, Gosh.
I love a bit of chaos, folks. Game 1 is here of day 2 of World Series of Warzone 2024. Vegas is loud, and I'm excited to drop into map number 1.
We are here, and look at that plane line. Nice, a central. We're not going to be diving off to the farms. Maybe potentially no open end games for our players today, but that's going to give the Falcons over towards Pop-Off one of the best starts. And honestly, we had a big question. We always try to incite riots at Pop-Off Power. Would someone chow them?
That's a great question. Will they be chowed? And right now, it's not looking like that's the case. It does look like Team FIFA Kills also landed pop-up. But this was my question. Was this team going to be challenged this time around at High Rise? The battle of a century that frankly was incredibly one-sided. Team Community came to play on LAN. They dominated all day yesterday with one of the lower average placements throughout the course of our top 5 through the course of 6 games, but some of the highest kill totals. This team came to slay and stay in the top 5. We'll see if they're able to do that, especially when they're not being contested.
That's actually super important. And T there, just on the outside of your screen there, looking to get out of dodge. Now, I got a chance to talk to her yesterday around the casino floor, and she was saying that yesterday just really wasn't their best performing day. They were about 14th place after, I think, the second or third game, and they kind of tapered off a bit, and she wanted to come in with a new game plan. Now, mind you, think of the last chance qualifiers. When they got into this, they put up such a massive game. I'm talking around 30 points to get themselves here to the global LAN.
A crazy stat, too, is this Cloud9 team. A lot of folks expected a lot from them on LAN. They're storied players. They've got a long resume of playing together and figuring out how to play together in high-intensity moments, and they've completely swapped their plan. You saw them all the way over to Seaport. This is their original plan. They went to plan B by landing Old Town, and it didn't work yesterday at all. I think they're down in the 20s. Today, they said, we're headed back to home. We're headed back to Seaport. We'll see if we can get some action there. So instead, we're going to go check out Omit EU, who, frankly, had a great tourney yesterday. They were top 5, and the top 5 was separated by a sizable margin from 6th all the way through. I think it was like a 30-point margin from 5th to 6th. Crazy stat line. We'll see if that continues today.
You know, they've been in positions where they've been able to excel at this format, but have never been able to, once again, hit that win condition, folks. And by the way, we're looking for 150. Yesterday's gameplay gave us those advanced starting points, is what you'll see on that upper right-hand side of your screen. Omit EU already has 30, so we're looking for 120 more. And once you hit that, you must secure a win. So grabbing your loadout and getting on the move, we're looking for aggressive plays. But based off what we saw from that roster yesterday, they let those eliminations come endgame, and I think we got to start it a bit sooner.
Well, another fun moment here. Take a look at Team Aiden. We talked about them at the top of the show. A fantastic day yesterday. Such a strong team. Everything is clicking.
Oh,
Superstore is uncontested, unfortunately, for J-Tech, B-Mark, and Slide. Being contested here by Team Huskers, getting better of them very quickly as we see a piece of the action and sending some folks to the Gulag. Now, we still have all 40 teams very early in this one, but the first Gulag of the day, J-Tech looking for his third.
Oh, and now you can see that Husker squad is being proposed over there at 11 Resort, and J-Tech's got to get out of the Gulag if he wants to go and get some of those eliminations resolved on the other side. And I like that we're sending the nade right down the center line, but we are going to get a bit punished for it. The Free Fire comes through and unfortunately resolved, able to get back to Urzikstan.
Free Fire does not pay off, but we're gonna head back to Team Aiden. Now they've left Superstore because, well, they looted it quickly, got their loadout, and are on their merry way. They're looking for kills. We know their play style. It's pretty aggressive, especially coming out of Superstore. They're looking for some early eliminations. This time they have rotated down towards farms and have found another very strong team on the side of Robstar, Vortex, and Blade. Reminder, this Robstar team is a team that a lot of folks, Enigma was talking about in the EMEA as a really, really strong team. They ended up going to LCQs and then obliterating everybody in LCQ, saying, yeah, we shouldn't have been here. And now they've got a chance to prove that they're a top 10 team here today after a great finish yesterday.
Yeah, great finish indeed, but they only averaged about just under 11 points per game. So if we're trying to get 150 and you didn't really have the best starting points, you have to get on the move. And Team Aiden, I love what they're already doing, trying to position themselves, but not necessarily overextend. So it's a conservative pinch that we're setting up. You have Aiden on the north, DJ from the other side, and Aiden just wants to open the damage up with the thermites, kind of finish them into maybe a room, so you can see that Z-Smith wants to just capitalize on that.
Well, there's a moment here where I thought we might not see similar circles yesterday as Aiden picking a couple. Quick look at the map view, by the way. Of course, this fight happening on the far right-hand side in farms.
Oh, Reaper now.
Só vai rápido, velho. Os caras não vieram, não.
Acho que eles não vieram aqui mesmo, não, velho.
Não vieram. Eles passaram.
Tô de frente, tô de frente.
É que foi alguém atrasado, nem fudendo, né? Soltaram um balão.
Pega o balão e bota pro loot rápido.
Mano, acho que eu vou pegar esse bounce pra ver se a gente faz um dinheirinho com esse cara morrendo, mano. Segura aí, segura aí.
Joga.
Quem vai ter que ir lá pra
Pega esse
esquerda.
loadout.
Pegou muito.
Pega esse loadout, pega esse loadout. Relaxa. Mano, só. É, pronto, tinha uma caixa de placa.
Tô indo já, velho.
Cola aqui pra jogar uma caixa de placa pra geral. Segura aí. Eu tô atrás de tu, Vai pegar o balão, Ripão?
Bem-vindo.
Peguei o balão já.
Bora de rapão. De balão, ô Tio. Tá sem placa, ô Ripão? Como é que tá?
Mano, eu peguei uma ali. Mano, não vi ninguém aqui, velho.
Ó, eu peguei.
Tá esperto pelo menos.
Vou deixar a placa pra tu aqui, tá? Deixei duas.
Zé.
Tem cara caindo no loadout contigo, Ripão. Os três puxando. É, os três puxando, Ripão. Vou te ajudar. Vai correndo, boba. Corre. Sei. Passa pra mim.
Peguei o loadout, velho. Peguei o loadout. Eu vou pegar...
Onde eles estão?
Aqui.
No loadout.
Tá. Ah, internet você já full close.
Mano, não tiro, te ver.
Vamos ver ele passando, é mão nele. Give. Vou com certeza. Não escutei eles embaixo de mim não, Ripão. Nem vi, mano.
Mas vai na minha cara, velho.
Ganha esse gulag pra nós. Será que eu arrisco aqui o...
Para aqui acho que não tem ninguém, velho.
Não, bota fogo rápido.
Eu acho que aqui a gente tem mais ângulo pra jogar, porque lá eles tomam muito do prédio, do Dong, mano.
Eu acabei de... Vou dar a loja de nome.
Cara aqui, ó, meu ping. O que vocês têm aí?
Eu tenho caixa de munição, caixa de plate, trophy, Dani e...
Tá, eu tenho trophy, um anti-bunker e um morteiro. Pega isso aqui, Eric, tu não tem nenhum streak.
Você tá bem.
Não tô ouvindo vocês direito, vou aumentar a voz de vocês aqui, velho.
Aumenta no mix amp.
Aumenta no mix amp.
Aumenta no mix amp.
Ah, aqui.
Esse aqui.
Ah, boa.
Já vou espetar o peça no bugou.
Faz isso no meio do jogo não, mano. Se dá uma punição é 2 toques.
Ah, punição só por eu aumentar a voz de vocês?
Quase não.
Espera dar o vídeo.
O cara atrás de ti botou a mão no ouvido.
Na loja, mano.
Mano, a gente tanca mais uma safe. Viado, você sabe... Se abrir. Segundo. Ah, pega o último. Na vida.
Ai, meu Deus.
Tem mais um mesmo lugar.
Tira nele, Eric.
Ah, tira.
Muito bem.
Caralho, todo mundo voltando no mesmo balão, viado.
Vamos pra baixo.
Passou aqui, ó, no meu ping.
Eric, deixa teu troféu na mão, tá? Se um de nós dá o night, tomar de banco, joga o troféu. Lá, meu filho.
Olha pra cá também, ó. Tem um time canal e um duvidado.
Tem cara close de mim, tá? Cara close de mim, três cara close de mim, tá? Três cara.
Quer passar pra cá?
Eu acho que sim. Vou ter que passar, eu acho.
Tu vai fazer o parkour?
Tá, aham. Ai, me acertaram.
Caralho, forte.
Pegou todas as minhas plates, né?
Tá bem.
Pegou todas as minhas plates. Tá, obrigado.
Ai.
Onde tá tomando tiro?
Tá, a casa do lado.
Tamo muito visível, né?
Não, só tira a cara. Joga pra cá. E o bombeiro também, e o bombeiro tá de sniper, tá? Esse cara tá botando a cara, mano. Esse cara aqui, ó. Vem. Aquilo ali vara.
Nossa,
Tem cara de munição?
tem. Tá aqui, ó. Aí já tá aqui. Vai agora.
Tem cluster, não, quer dizer cluster não, você tem trophy, né?
Tem. Olha a canal, vem pra cá. Vamos comigo.
Ah, não, esse lado?
É.
Fica aqui. Top, na vida. Desceu. Ele tem mais caixa de munição? Depois?
Não.
Eu tenho uma, aham. Eu tô ficando sem plate, mano. Eu não tenho que valorizar aqui nessa coisa.
Removing himself from the equation and maybe hitting a nice flank, but he's gonna actually crest the water over there, and Juki's catches him on out, and that's a not quite unfortunate, because we're so open here, and then you can immediately see, you got Vision, Showstopper, just on that high ground outside of it, so trying to get out of this situation can be tough, because we are actually running stuns, we don't have smokes.
Well, a couple quick updates for you at home or here in the arena. Cloud9 has been fully eliminated in the first 8 teams to be cut down, as well as the Exiles, which is Husker's squad. I believe they are fully eliminated, so I will be very curious to see what happens from here. I think Omit NA just barely has regained and also in a bit of a blender. There's some tough teams still on this map, but some heavy hitters that had a okay day yesterday, not having a great start.
Omit EU on the screen, and well, finding themselves out in the upper area of Riverside. We saw a lot of teams starting to try and maneuver their way in here, especially that Deus Amir roster. You saw them just on the horizon. They had a really nice come up in the back half of our series just yesterday, so never count them out, because 4th last year on the World Series of Warzone Global Finals. Of course, we have a bit of a different format here today, and they are very experienced in that as well.
Several great teams in this area, by the way. This is a little bit lackluster in terms of positioning from Omit EU. What do they usually do? Yeah, they just go to the in circle in the first zone. We're in the 4th zone. We're going to pick off Deus Amir from behind, likely, unless he's able to scrap his way out. Do cut him down, but they're way out of position here. There's a lot of room to work in City. This is our first true City zone, at least for now. Look how many buildings are in this area. What that's going to mean for us is, yes, layer cakes, teams on top, teams on bottom of the same buildings, but also a crazy amount of players into these end zones. You're likely going to see resources be everything in the final circles, whether you have PDSs, gas masks, or otherwise, will certainly help you get the victory.
Well, this is what I'm excited about. You got Navi just on the horizon. You guys saw Zeppa yesterday in that solo YOLO, double digits, almost be able to pull it off, but unfortunately came second. Maybe we'll try our better luck here today. Mortar strikes incoming will deter us from getting out into the open and trying to make that push onto Navi, as they just decide to rotate ahead towards that stadium era where they're looking to maybe get some high ground and some information and watch people that are late rotating in from that cargo side.
Again, the Falcons coming in from the northern side of this zone in new. There's only a couple teams not in circle already because there's so much cover here. Best positions in my mind right now, Team Super Evan in the Salmon 9. You'll see them on your screen, just off into the distance, in a really good spot in the central part of the zone with a lot of open areas around their building. So they're probably sitting pretty, likely with low kills though. There's a lot of moments looking back on yesterday where teams were able to get to top 5, top 10, but only had 3-4 eliminations, hoping they would come in the end circle and not finding them. So there's some different strategies paying off yesterday. Some of that slow play did work, and a lot of times it didn't. Kills are everything in this competition.
Yeah, but you also have to remind yourself, when you're watching the Falcons in that early game, you can look at it and be like, okay, Soka's on 0. Next time we see them in just 3 minutes, they'll be close to double digits. That's just how fast they can ramp things up here in that end game. Because, I mean, we still have 29 teams up, because you mentioned that layer cake, but Omit EU elsewhere on the prowl, and they're starting to run into Team Community. We know they can put up massive numbers, and that is going to be a heavy-hitting fight between some of our top 5 teams.
By the way, that's Omit EU pushing down to the bottom side of High Rise. Yeah, Team Unrational, Team Community. They've been there since the very beginning. They are on the same building they drop on. That's what happens in the City zone. You can see them, the pink 20 just barely off new zone. Red 1, bottom right-hand corner of your screen, as Ahsoka's finally finding potentially his first and maybe second eliminations.
We're heating up.
Goal 1, that's 2 going their way. Should be able to pick up Little Mario, no problem, and maybe other couple in rotation. I think that's Nito on the right-hand side. That's likely a free kill if they know he's there.
Oh, little Mario. The Shifty's out here just trying to read it. Ahsoka's like, no, whatever. I'm going to get in on the action, crest the fence line, and just can't seem to set their sights onto him. And I mean, if you've got a gas mask and a PDS in the back pocket, yes, I hate to say burn your resources now, but you also have to realize that we're not really into some of the best multipliers, and just surviving can help you.
Yeah, and now looking at new zone, you saw it on your screen. This is, again, the first true city zone, and there are a ton of players still on this map. 76 players, by the way, and the fifth circle is unreal, and it's going to continue to have a monumental amount of people inside of buildings. Now, I will say with new zone, high-rise barely inside of that. I'm looking specifically at Clavson, Gui. You'll see them off screen here in a moment. We check out that map. They're dead center of zone, number 27. We're going to keep our eyes out for them. They're in a really good spot to do well in this competition, as well as Team Aiden, who's already rotated to new dead center of zone. This is the opposite side of the coin, of course, the Falcons on the edge. As you can see now, Almond on your screen with the Falcons MENA team.
Yeah, that Falcons MENA squad with Almond kind of subbing in there. They're on that bottom side of Quadrant Shopping Center, right? So they know it's going to end in this vicinity, and they just got to set themselves up for that position. But the Falcons rotating in are getting ripped apart. Biffle down on the ground, but the thing about it is, if there's one Falcon left standing, there's usually a regain that comes through really quickly. Shifty already coming back in. They're likely trying to get Biffle down and out so we can get him bought back. This is actually going to help their rotation. The issue is you're not going to have your weapons. You're going to have to find something, and Sage, Adrian from below, we're going to have to chow this.
Good grief. So many players in this area. Sage saw him fly in. We weren't able to pick him up, which means Ahsoka could make a heroic play. The problem is Sage in the way. Zoned him off, might make a play for the buy for some resources. They got plenty of cash to work with, and right now it might be a regain simulator for this squad. Again, I'm going to harken something back to what I said yesterday, as the team Falcons mostly has gained, you know, side by side, shoulder to shoulder. They regained and able to make it to the buy to get some resources. This is their worst in-circle, in my opinion. You can see Shifty actually being cut down by Gui off-screen. City is not a great rotation for them. There's just too many people in the way when they have to come all the way from the north side of the map all the way into City. Still 55 players on this map, but who knows? Anything can happen if Shifty gets cut down yet again.
They are getting pieced apart, whether it's Team North, whether it's FaZe Black. Keep your eyes on them because they've only acquired 4.8 points throughout this first match. And if the Falcons foul here, keep your eyes on the likes of Team Echo, Team Aiden, Team Community, the squads that are still up and have the capabilities of getting themselves into those higher multipliers.
Again, Super Evan squad in another great position. That's the Salmon 9, but here's a push. Swag's team decides to relocate. They decide to go for an early rotate, and the smoke and run apparently works. Biffle looking for a couple more in transition. Can't get anything for it. They can't find a kill to save their life right now in the first game. They've got a lead overall because of yesterday. Finally find Prodigy. That's a big one, of course. That's a top 5 team. We can keep pushing the equation here and rotate to new. They still got a chance for a good game, not a great one. But where do you go from here? Every angle is being looked at, aside from this tall building next to you, because Super Evan's team's on the bottom.
No money to buy back. We are going to be a duo. And I think I'm going to hear the sounds of smokes being popped in Warzone in my sleep at this rate. A buyback nearby, but this is going to be one heck of a rotation, and we kind of need to chow and clear out this Team Super Evan from the building, because if not, on our rotate, they're going to mirror us. We already are kind of hitting that peak, maybe wanting them to extend on out.
This is brutal. The amount of angles they can get shot from right now is insane, and like you said, smoke and run are certainly the strategy. Super Evan's team is not going to bite on that, which is lucky for the Falcons, as they are able to rotate again back to a team that nearly wiped them before, a Swag squad. So many angles means where do you go from here? Folks, we have 43 players in this lobby and dropping 16 teams as we're about to pop into the 8th circle here shortly. An unreal statistic. We'll see how many players can rat out underneath this bridge here in a moment.
And Omid EU wiped another one just before coming on over this. We already have a bunker buster in our back pocket. We have recon drones for information. One of our players, a self-res dirt. We have gas masks. Like, this is how you set up. We rotated early. We got a powerful position. Team Super Evan, they fall. And honestly, so do the Falcons.
It's just, this is a tough scene for the Falcons. It's not their circle. They're going to regain for new. We know it. But in this one, they fall in 12th. Not a great multiplier, not a lot of kills. This is going to open up this leaderboard. A 10-point lead is nice, but it's not good enough, not right now. And we head to the other Falcon squad, who does have a high ground position, but look at the zone pull. A god rotate there for guess who it is? Yet again, Team North. Clavson, Gooey, FLS, if they've got enough resources in the 27 pink, they've got a chance to have a great game. Team Community fully eliminated, just barely, I think, getting top 10, so a decent multiplier. But it's FaZe at the bottom of this building with a chance to do great work.
They call in a bunker buster and just drop it straight on the center of everyone. There's even a squad that already preemptively rotated, that CT Black roster. Keep an eye on them because FaZe has found themselves completely surrounded. And honestly, our wildcard team from North America still in the mix as well. Nick Cool, you know, he won $50,000 in the solo YOLO yesterday. Still not enough for them. Wants to bring it to the table today. Already picking apart that FIFA kill team.
Fastball special doesn't quite connect, but Jukins gets cut down from Omit EU, who's trying to make a play for some piece of cover, some semblance of reprieve in the chaos of this circle. Panda also trying to do the same, immediately cut down, because who has ultimate high? It's the other Falcons. Falcons Mina with a great chance here to take a banger map and leapfrog their way up this leaderboard. So much room to work right now with a lot of the top teams already being eliminated. You're not seeing nearly any of the top 5 still in the top 5 in this lobby. It's FaZe with a huge chance to jump into the top 4, top 3, or maybe beyond, depending on their kills. We've made it to the top multiplier besides first. The question is, can anybody take out the Falcons Mina squad on ultimate high?
Well, you got FaZe here, and well, they've got a bit of space to work with, but you have to keep your eyes on that Team Colony 2K. A lot of teams are going to want to play for that space, and I'm a little nervous for it, but we're going to make this a big prominence burn in the building. Sage on 5, getting Mixie.
Okay, FaZe, we see you. Job not done, though. We need the 2x multiplier. The problem is the Falcons being up on high ground yet again, raining terror from above. Sage being contested below, above, and everywhere in between. Nick will being cut down. Colony 2K leaving this lobby. Where is FaZe Swag? Can you find him? Hamoon trying to make a big play, goes down. Deep in the gas, 6 last alive for the team. No, it's Almond up on high. We've seen this circle before, and Almond has a chance to close this out. Clavson being cut down. No, Almond up the gas. It's Gooey. FLS, Clavson. They keep winning. Colony 2K wins the 1v2. Colony 2K on top. Somehow, some way, we go from winning the solo YOLO as Nick Cool to instead Team Colony 2K keeping up the momentum and saying we're not done yet, we're just getting started. 6th place yesterday, winning map 1. Wow.
Look, that's everything that you need, right? You got 20 advanced starting points coming into today. You get a 2x multiplier right off the rip. And to think that they were our North American wildcard team, right? They had to win it to be able to get to the World Series of Warzone Global Land Finals. And man, they are coming out hot.
What a chaotic end circle as expected. Ultimate high ground is nearly everything. The problem with it is in the final zone, when it just shrinks on itself and there's nowhere to run, the gas is punishing in the end, and low ground reigns supreme. It was that Colony 2K squad that was able to clean up at the end, likely because of resource management, and frankly, good gunning. Very well done from that team. I'm not sure how many kills they had, but it was a sizable margin. 2x multiplier. I think they're going to jump up these standings quite dramatically.
And that's what we needed. And honestly, I was curious if we would see that slower start from the Falcons, from North America. And honestly, it kind of opens the door for the rest of the teams to jump ahead, potentially in points, race to that 150. And then it's like we have a story on our hands.
There's certainly a story here. Again, this is unprecedented when it comes to World Series of Warzone. With the inclusion of the wildcard slot, this team didn't make it here, and they had one.
So on the Discord, there's all day 2, so
Yeah,
we
they're
can
working on that right now. We just got a bunch of calls and they can't get
Oh,
it.
okay.
Did you guys restart your game?
Oh, not yet.
I'll get back to it.
Yeah,
I'll
yeah.
get back to you with the Discord.
Yeah, can I go to the restroom?
Yeah.
Eu jogo no banheiro, né? Pode mijar absurdo.
Acabar tem só o dele. Já volto no banheiro.
Talk about ice the veins. Very well done, Team Colony 2K. Very, very impressive.
Vou botar o chat, vamos ver o que tá rolando no chat. E aí, coaches do chat, o que faltou? Vamos ver. Mano, pior que a gente centralizou legal, né, mano? Só que a safe shiftou pra puta que pariu. Eu acho que a gente jogou direitinho, só essa safe fudeu, nossa.
Thank you, Miles. A big win coming out for Team Echo. Nicole trying to even get the crowd pumped up, and they are pumped up after that win. $50,000 richer from yesterday's solo YOLO. This time around, looking to earn another $300,000 for first. Let's get right into it. Team Echo, a big, massive win. Dandro, how'd they get it done?
Well, Team Echo unfortunately did get taken out a little bit early. That's A-okay. But hey, the thing I wanted to say here though, when we look at this zone pull, it pulls exactly right towards City, okay? Now, we talked to Echo yesterday. He says, hey, where we land, it's impossible for us to have a bad game. We just need to focus on having good games. And where the zone pulls to them, it allows them to have this huge monster game. And with Team Falcons going out so early, Echo is able to basically eliminate and nullify that lead that they worked so hard for yesterday. We are on an even playing field now with these top 5 teams who are able to have a great game. That's the one thing I kind of noticed here after game number 1.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I do love this Echo lineup. I think that, you know, we spoke to him last night, and he spoke, you know, he had a lot of confidence in their game plan, truly believes in his teammates, and I think that right now we're looking at a team that can contest, can make things happen. It's a little bit early on the drop, though. It's just a bit over-aggressive. So if you can just heat check yourself, temper yourself back in, I think we're looking at a side that could be a part of the conversation when we're talking the big prize money today.
But it was a quick lobby. You would think Championship Sunday, D'Angelo, things would slow down. At least off at the beginning, it was very fast. Things did slow. We did have quite a few teams going into the final zones, but at least off the rip, nobody was playing around.
Yeah, we even saw this yesterday in our game number 6, right? It was a very fast zone, and then it grinds to a halt. Similar today, which caught me by surprise, end of zone 5, we had 27 out of our 40 squads that were still alive. 13 squads already eliminated. I don't know if it was just because of the zone pull, people are getting caught in rotation. It just seems some of these teams are no problem playing aggressive. Other people playing a little bit scared here on Championship Sunday. So, hey, sometimes you're either the hunter or you are the prey. And there's a lot of prey on the field, it seems like today.
I like what Dandro said. A lot of teams getting caught in rotation. And one of those battles that I really loved to see was like C9, right? Switching up their strategies and going from plan B back to plan A at Seaport. But guess who they ran into? They ran into T, of course. But hey, for Nick Cool hiding in that truck and all those crazy rotations into City, hiding in the truck, deemed beneficial. Colony Waldo, Nick Cool, taking 6th place and taking drop number 1. You have to feel confident with that. That has to be momentum that you carry throughout the tournament.
Yeah, you know, Nick saying, look, we were hiding in a truck. We got blessed by zone. I think there was a little bit more than that. They slid out the very end. Seriously, congratulations to them. For them to start off Championship Sunday like that is massive. It goes back to the narrative we set up yesterday about a team who maybe, you know, a little bit lower than they wanted to be. Granted, Colony 2K finished in 6th place. That was phenomenal. Just outside of top 5 for the 30 bonus points, but now they're going to even that up quite a bit after that game number 1. But clearly, winning Solo YOLO had to give them a ton of confidence. It did exactly that. Another team, though, that I was ecstatic to see up at least, I believe, 3rd place, if I'm not mistaken, Falcons Mena this time around. You know, I love this team, Zix, Hamoud, and so on. Like, these guys made it happen. Talk to me about their run and how surprising it is that they were top 3.
I mean, you kind of saw him have that position early game. And the one thing about this team, you have Almond, who is sort of this IGL. It is no surprise to know that Almond is a fantastic player, has played with many different trios, and knows how to run around this map. So when you get kind of Zix and Hamoud, we know there's a little bit of a language barrier there, right? They are coming from, of course, MENA. But the one thing is, though, I think that these two players have full confidence in Almond and his ability to make a play call. And they're kind of like, all right, yeah, let's go do it. And you see that at the end there, just playing in and out of the gas, almost able to take the game, maybe a little bit of a miscommunication allowing Colony to be able to take it, but either way, fantastic work from Falcons MENA.
Well, I think that this team are one that continues to fly under the radar despite stunning improvements every single time we see them. Last year, Zix and Hamoud managed to make it onto LAN with Wawadi. They fall short relatively on the global stage. However, this year they bring in Crims. Unfortunately, couldn't make it to the event here, subbing in Almond, and they also let Almond take over IGL. And it's so impressive that they're constantly making these improvements, because yesterday that was clearly them finding their feet and understanding each other a bit. To come into today and put up a big game like that, very impressive stuff. And again, a team that just continue to show us that they have growth in them.
Right, exactly, and that's why I'm a big fan of this format, right? 2 days as opposed to London last year, which was just 1 day, and it was amazing just 1 day that we had. But now that you have 2 days, teams are getting their feet underneath them. They're figuring things out. They're getting those nerves out of the way. And for Falcons MENA, they are looking incredible. We'll see how far they can continue to go. The Falcons, though, themselves, representing at least North America here, they finished off a little bit earlier than they probably were expecting. Granted, the 40 bonus points definitely helps them.
Yeah, and I mean, what they had to do to get there, you guys, that was like the most intense battle between FaZe and Falcons. Like just watching that, and then Hisoka, right, taking the balloon, rotating over, and then running into them again. But for what they did was smart, though, in that engagement with FaZe, is they backed down, right? We saw a trade happen between Shifty and Sage, and man, just seeing Sage fight and battle his own teammates, you guys, that was just prolific. I believe Goj described it.
Yeah, you couldn't basically have that go any better. A little bit of just desserts there. Them going down so earlier, I love what Goj said. Regain simulator, I think, is the best way to pull it. It just seemed like one person was always knocked out.
Well, I'll tell you what, Omit EU played out of their mind as well. They were really, really good for game number 1, and you had a chance to actually interview them, if I'm not mistaken. Let's hear what Enigma had to say with Omit EU.
Ladies and gentlemen, I am here with Omit EU. It's going to be Heeds, Gromalok, and Enkyo, and we're going to do some interviews today. But before we get into the questions, gents, how about you introduce yourselves?
Ok les gars, qui veut commencer?
Vas-y, à toi.
Moi? Ok. Bon, on leur dit truc classique au début. Tu vois, on rigole un petit peu avec lui et après on va commencer à le troll un peu plus.
Ok, parfait. Vas-y, c'est bon.
So yeah, nice to meet you, Andrew. Thank you for having us. I'm Gromalok, and I just happened to be pushing button on my controllers, and now I ended up in the World Series of Warzone.
Okay.
I'm Enkyo. I'm living Lyon pour les Lyonnais, and it's up.
Hey, I'm Heeds, and I'm here because I love the sun.
Okay, so I think you're selling yourselves a bit short. I know that you guys are absolute killers on the battlefield, but we'll head into the next question, I guess, and that is, who do you think is your biggest threat in this competition?
Oh, interesting question.
Ok, donc là il va falloir que je pense qu'il attend une réponse.
Ouais.
Les Falcons, Soka, Piffle, Shifty.
Comme tout le monde. C'est sûr.
Comme tout le monde. Viens, on lui dit autre chose. Vous avez peur de qui?
On dit qui? De personne.
Zach 7.
Zach 7.
Zach 7.
Ok.
Yeah, interesting question. You raised Andrew. I think has to be Zach 7, the French player. The other French team, Demon on the map. Pretty scared about that.
Sorry, Zach 7?
Yeah, Zach 7, yeah.
Okay. I swear I heard Soka, Falcons, no?
Oh, no, not
Okay.
at all. Who's that?
Sorry, Zach 7.
Zach 7.
You're the French team in the competition. That's your biggest threat here.
I think everyone's sharing the same thought on that, yeah.
Okay, so a lot of teams coming into the World Series have prepared a drop spot for this. Can I ask what yours is going to be of this weekend, boys?
Yeah, interesting question. Give us a sec.
Ok, bon, question sur le drop, pas très intéressant, tout le monde sait qu'on va à manoir. Et personne ne conteste, de toute façon tout le monde a peur de nous.
Bah oui, clairement. Bah ouais.
Je pense qu'il faut pimenter un petit peu la chose. On va là pour autre chose.
Popov.
Ouais, c'est bien ça.
Ouais, c'est bien.
Yes, Andrew. So, yeah, we decided to change landing spot for this tourney. We're actually contesting Popov. Yeah, Popov power.
Falcons. You must be contesting the Falcons then, right?
Oh, the landing Popov?
Yeah.
No, contesting Zach 7. Yeah, because we want to get rid of him from the beginning, because I think this is the threat. So I didn't even know like Falcon was leading Popov.
Okay, so contesting Zach 7 at Popov. Probably should have paid more attention in French class. Let's do one last question then, and that is, what is it that you boys have to say to your opponents in this tournament?
Yeah, very important question. Okay.
Bon, qu'est-ce qu'on lui sert comme sauce? On lui sert un truc hypocrite ou...
Ouais.
Ouais.
Je pense que ça peut être bien ça.
Ouais, ouais. On les bait, on fait croire qu'on est des gentils alors qu'en fait...
on est là
va les
pour...
exploser.
ouais.
Okay.
C'est parfait.
Yeah, good question, Andrew. We are pushing good values. We're here to make good memories, good friends, you know, with the competitors.
Okay.
Whatever the result is, we're just happy to be here.
Okay, well, that was very wholesome and friendly. That's very nice of you guys. Usually people would take that opportunity to talk a bit of smack, but it's good.
Wait. I'm gonna try the truth. We are all coming for you. No one is safe. I will show no mercy.
Okay, so that was OMITU here at the World Series of Warzone Global Finals in Las Vegas, and I can't wait to see what they do on the big stage.
I don't know what the ending of that was, but I absolutely loved it. That's how they look like, though, playing in that game number 1 on mid-EU. I believe around 6th place. They absolutely tore it up. And, you know, again, from yesterday's performance to today, I think they're doing just fine, Dandro.
No, they're doing fantastic. It was one thing that Enigma highlighted yesterday that was sort of my considerable worry here today as well. Is will they be able to start off quick? Will they be able to start off hot? It's kind of all eyes on Enkyo, right? To be able to come online. Well, it seems like day 1, he was acting a little bit like the end of that interview. And day number 2, they're off to a similar hot start. Being able to get 6th in that game number 1 is definitely a solid way. I know they have high expectations from themselves. They would have loved to take the game. But either way, if you're able to get to that 6th place, you're able to get to that 1.6 times multiplier with some considerable eliminations, it's not a bad way to start your day.
That's right. Hey, Gia, how you doing? Welcome to the desk. Great to see you.
You know what? I'm just, I'm vibing.
You're vibing out here. Well, talk to me about FaZe, Swag, Sage, and Adrian. Adrian, a young gun himself, actually played with Aiden last year. We talked about Swag returning to the stage. Sage, also, he is a champion, right? Returning to global finals. How'd they do in game 1?
Yeah, you know, I think they're a really interesting team because yesterday, individually, they were performing really well, but they didn't get a ton of mention as a team. They were a little bit like the bridesmaid instead of the bride of yesterday, but actually I thought in that first drop, they did really well. They were the team that gained the highest number of points today, despite the fact that they came 4th.
Sure.
They gained 21.6, which is quite a significant points increase on the match point day that we have today. And, you know, they had the second highest number of eliminations today at 12, just behind Team FIFA Kill, who got 13. And I just thought the way that they played it was really interesting. You know, they came in and they found this point of interest really early, and they stayed there for like the first 3 or 4 circles before actually starting to make their move. So they kind of really bunkered down and stood by what it was they kind of wanted to take on the map.
Yeah.
And we saw how scrappy it got at the end, and it was the fact that they didn't kind of like second guess, you know, when are we going to start making a move? When are we going to make our rotations? Like they played really confidently, and you could see that in the number of eliminations they got as well. And so even though they did come 4th, I thought that this is going to be a team that we should really be watching out for in
Without
the
a
next
doubt.
few drops.
Yes. Well, when you think about it, FaZe, come on. They are a staple when it comes to Call of Duty. And, hey, best of luck going into game number 2. And speaking of which, let's actually get into game number 2. See how the story is going to continue to unfold. We'll send it over to our caster, Spider Tiff, and goes.
Thank you so much, Desk, and a great breakdown, and a great interview, by the way. I love Enigma interviews. That one was a lot of fun. I'm sure the French weren't trolling him or anything. That was
No, definitely not. And honestly, maybe I should brush up on my French as well. We all could use a few words, right?
Yeah, sure. Well, looking back on that last map, a fun one. Again, an unprecedented wildcard team. I literally tweeted that out because this team has been dominating throughout the last several games we've played. Ending yesterday, we saw a lot of momentum coming in, winning the solo YOLO, and then winning game 1. This Colony 2K team is looking different, and the fact that they barely got here is a travesty, frankly, for what they're capable of. And we saw that leading up to this tournament as well. The weeks leading up, the scrims, the tourneys, the prep, they've done the work, and it's paying off, and we'll see how much money they can make.
And I have to say that for a lot of the other teams as well, right? They used yesterday as that kind of test to see, can we convert to wins? Can we stop the Falcons? Especially knowing that when you heard from Nick Cool himself at the end of match number 1, we cannot let the Falcons win. So who is going to stand up and rise to the occasion and deny Falcons the points here? Let's get into match number 2.
Well, 24 points was the score that Team Colony 2K was able to net home with 12 kills and a win. We'll see if they can better that, or maybe some of these other folks can have a better game this time around and close the gap on this leaderboard. Top 5 had a 30-point margin yesterday, but today things have evened out a little bit. Of course, 20, 30, 40 points, and maybe less being given to these teams depending on where they place. And based on the quick look at the zone, where these players are flying in from, we're going to be headed north this time around. No city for the second map of the day. We're seeing B-Mark, Slide, and J-Tech go to their tried and true spot. They're going to stretch for a while across the top of this map here.
Exactly, especially with that plane line, but we've got to get back on over toward this high-rise thing. It's going to be the last stop, right? And of course, community uncontested, able to focus on that tried and true, everything they know and love. But for the teams that are on that north side, that like to go hang out towards Levin Resort, past Outpost and Seaport, you are going to be some of the players with your feet on the ground absolutely last, which is going to force you guys to make sure, get your loadouts, get on that hyper-aggressive, especially if you're trying to get to that win condition early.
Well, back to Bazaar we go to check in on this fight. The fight for Bazaar has been one for the Asian. It's been Robstar's team that's won majority of the times. But instead, we're going to go check out another fight here in Condos as we see Nano on screen getting some crowd love. Savvy Ultras, the Italians, up above and already have a gun. So unfortunately, pistol not going to be enough as Savvy Ultras picks up a kill all by himself.
Nano in the gulag we go here. Freddy on the side. Get the nade out, a swing, and Nano deleted there. SV Begsy, you can see Savvy Ultras down below. A couple teams still lurking nearby. But for now, I'm keeping my eyes on Tapulator across the way also.
Yeah, this is an interesting fight here in Condos. This is one of those fights that's been happening quite a bit over the last several games. People deciding not to change up their drop spots around this fire station. Off to the left-hand side of the map, and the Savvy Ultras this time finally can't get the better of two. The squad on your screen right now, frankly, has had a very brutal tournament thus far. I believe they were actually 37th, funny enough, matching their player number at the end of day one. We'll see if they have a better tournament after a nice little start there, but we're going to check in on Cloud9 again. Again, I know they've got a lot of fans, a lot of folks cheering them on, and right now they've gone back to Seaport. They're actually not very far away from that Begsy team, a little bit off the way from that fire station as Funzy trying to get out of dodge. This time Cloud9 seemingly on the hunt.
I need to see him pull some moves out of the Matrix, but Jace finds the angle. Funzy down and out, and you see E700 is already fully eliminated. Everything will fall towards T if Funzy does not win the Gulag. And if I'm T, I'm disengaging because other squads are already starting to lurk amongst the mix. Team Vitality.
Hey, speaking of a team that needs a better day today, Team Vitality.
Yeah, 100% do.
Getting a free kill. And look, I don't know if it's the inclusion of noobs or the exclusion of Inxion, but yesterday did not go their way. They had a brutal day after getting bullied out of their drop spot by community. And funny enough, they've actually elected to go back to where Noobs used to drop with his former team, over to the Seaport side, kind of near that fire station where you saw Begsy and everybody else. So, you know, could be a strategy, especially if Noobs is taking the lead here.
BD Benza back in action. Vitality might run into them, but Destroy on your screen with Raul, Nate Dogg. This squad still trying to make some plays over by the gas station